Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Art of Reinvention podcast show. This show focuses on helping you become the best version of yourself by producing thought-provoking and life-changing content. Here's your host, Teflon John.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Teflon John, coming to you with another brand new episode of the Art of Reinvention talk show. And today we have none other than Tony Camm.
My man, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man.
This is weird for me being on this side
because
on the other side, on my stuff, I'm always interviewing you on different things. So when I got the call to be like, I'm like, wow, can I be a guest? I got to learn how to be a guest.
Yeah, so how does it feel for all the people who don't understand what being an influencer in today's, social media, personal brand, and that type of genre? So how does it feel being able to relax on the other side?
Well, it feels good, but I'm actually kind of excited that you refer to me as an influencer. That's the first time somebody's called me that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what's up.
I think we all influence people, but it's what are we influencing them to do?
Is right, exactly right. Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different thing for me to be on this side, so I'm excited about this. This is cool.
Okay,
this is cool.
I'm glad to have you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you putting me on, Tony Camm Radio and everything, going all the way back to 2014.
You made the show, man. Like, when we do the show, we have different segments on the show and stuff. And one of the segments that we have is, Teflon Minutes.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the opportunity.
And we've been using those things, man. I know there was some are from 4 or 5 years ago. Still relevant, though.
Gotcha.
Still nuggets, so we're dropping those things all the time. So thank you, man. If we ever start making millions on it, I'll send you a check.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, so let's take a rewind, all right?
Okay.
So who is Tony Camm, if you had to sum up?
Wow.
Oh, no, let's take it back. Who was Tony Camm?
Let's say
before the entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Before, when you just had $1 in a dream. Who was Tony Camm?
Wow, I think I did have $1 in a dream at some point. So, the thing that I was thinking about when I was coming here is your show titled The Art of Reinvention. And I'm like, that's pretty much, I could write a book. If I would write a book, a biography, I might buy that name from you. Because I've reinvented myself several times over the past 4 decades. So, in the 70s, I was band leader, singer, songwriter, when I was late teenager kind of thing. Then life hit and, you start being a parent and everything. And so in the 80s is when I made my mark, hospitality and hotel business for a long time, still in that. Then the 90s, I kind of switched gears and made my way into the entertainment business, owning a nightclub, throwing parties, boxing promoter, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know about the boxing.
See, a lot of I've done so much, man. Sometimes I have to remind myself what I've done. And then the 2000s is kind of when I totally reinvented and busted out as a rapper and a theater actor. I don't know where that came from. It just kind of happened. And so now, today, I'm back full circle as band leader, singer, songwriter.
Okay.
So I think that whole path has brought me right back to where I was at 17 or 18 years old.
Gotcha. And I would say, just looking at you, I would say you've been successful, at many of them. You know what I mean? So how do you speak to the people that are often criticized for trying many things? Because to me, I'd rather juggle 20 balls and drop 2.
That's me. Yeah.
Than to juggle 1 and drop 1.
Yeah, see, I can't. I just have this, I don't know whether it's an affliction or it's a superpower. It's one or the other. It's how you want to look at it. But I don't know if you've ever seen the cartoon or whatever where the person is juggling like 4 or 5 plates. They got a plate on each foot got a plate, each hand on the nose. That's kind of me 24/7.
Gotcha.
It's like my mind is like that. I'm like reading right now while I'm talking to you. I'm thinking about a record I'm making when I get in the studio in a little while. So it's kind of like I can compartmentalize that and work that stuff all at the same time. So I think that part of why I do so much different things is probably a little bit of boredom. It's like I have to have stuff happening. So while I'm waiting for someone to do something or waiting for a product or something that I just did to come out, I can't sit there. I got to, okay, what's something else I'm going to do?
Yeah, what's next?
So it's just a matter of keeping the balls in the air all the time. That's just how it is for me.
Gotcha.
I'll look at it as superpower.
Yeah. I mean, because it definitely is. Because I know when I'm working on things, people from the outside in, sometimes they don't understand, you know, because you got to be doing something
what
more.
you doing now?
You're always thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
you're always pushing the ball forward.
Yeah.
And so if you had to sum it up in like a couple sentences to that person that's about to give up because they're listening to somebody, like you're doing too much.
Don't listen, man. Just do it. Just if anything you want to do, the key thing is you want to do it. Don't listen to, you gotta cut out everybody else. If I can tell you all the time, somebody will say to me, what, you didn't finish this thing, you know? Yeah. And what they'll understand is not that I start and stop things. Everything's always on a burner.
Always working.
It might be simmering right now. Like I have an idea, brilliant idea, and I run into it and I got the people lined up to do it. And then they don't hear from me for a minute. They're like, "Oh man, you started." I'm like, "No, it's simmering right here though, because it's not ready yet."
Still working.
Like something else though came up, and I got to turn that up to boil right now. You know. Yeah. So just people, you just got to do you, man. You know, it's whatever you want to do. There's no right or wrong to any of that stuff. It's just, you know, hey, do it all, man.
Yeah, because to me, life is trial and error.
It is trial and error.
You know, and to me, I think as you get older.
Yeah.
And I think as I look at the younger generation now and what they have access to, the technology.
Crazy.
And I'm thinking about ideas I've had, you know what I mean? The access they have. I'm thinking about the age that I am. So you got it on two different, depending on who you talk to, they make you feel like you can or you can't do. Mm-hmm. And so I think sometimes you got to put that thing in here and not really tell anybody and like, you know, do what Bruno Mars said, don't believe me, just watch.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, because, you know, I think because sometimes it's hard unless you're, like me and you, we understand each other. So unless you're around other influencers or in the presence of like-minded people, that one person that's telling you that could really throw you off course.
Absolutely. That one person. The key to that whole thing is don't be around those people. Like I don't have any patience or tolerance for that. Like I don't know right away when I'm talking to somebody if they going to be complimentary of that style of doing stuff or if they're going to be critical. And if they're going to be critical, it's like I don't even hear them now. It's like they don't exist. And you know, it could be a cold way to be, but it's necessary, man. Yeah. It's like you say, life, we have a period of time to do something. Yeah. And I know a lot of people who regret and wanted to start something or do something and they talked themselves out of it or they thought about it too long and they try to rationalize it and figure it all out and strategize. I'm just one of those people that's like, okay, here's an idea, let's just do it. There's one way you're going to find out if it's going to work or it's not, right? Yeah, exactly. So, to me, I think you can outthink it. Sure you can. Sure you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think superpower can really sum it up because I think it's like being gifted. You ever watch the X-Men?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the thing I love about that is like Professor X's his mansion, and on the outside it says for the home of the gifted. Right. Because everybody felt weird. They felt out of place because they were the minority amongst normal people. Yeah. So then when you get around people that have other powers, now you feel like you can be yourself and really reach that max. True. So let's take a turn real quick. And I know a lot of people know you for the hotel business. So how and when did that come about?
So in the 80s. So I went there in 1984. And a lot of people don't know the story. Like, they look at me now and they say, well, you know, you're a successful hotel manager and, you know, we want you to run something, this and that. But the origin of it was I was out of work because I had a job. In my previous job before that, believe it or not, I was at Spanky's Fun Time Pizza and I was the dude that walked around with the bear costume on for the birthday parties. Yeah. The little kids would come up and hit you in the back of the head. That's a whole nother story. But I quit that, and then I was out of work, and Jackie and I, we were parents, and someone called us and said, you know, there's a new hotel opening up downtown on Main Street. You know, you need to go and apply. So I'm like, never been in the hotel business before. So I went there, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to run this hotel. And it was a dishwashing position. And I'm like, nah, that's okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Jackie said, oh, no, you taking that dishwashing job. So I did. And I told everybody I was going to be there for 1 week until I found a real job. And so it's 36 years later. Wow. I'm still there. Wow. And she made me do it. So when people want to give me accolades about that, I'm like, hey, blame Jackie Camm because she made me do it.
But you know, that's crazy because a lot of people don't know where their start is coming or what that looks like.
Right.
And so, you know, in the Bible it says, despise not the day of small beginnings.
Right.
And I think so many people, they don't value those small starts.
Right. Yeah.
So could you speak to the importance of that? Because it looks different. Like you said, you really had a foot in the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody else looked at it as like,
I didn't see that.
I ain't doing it.
I didn't see that at first though. So the people that have the mentality, like I interview people all the time now, and they want to come in the door and they want to, no man, I want to wear a suit like you, or I want to work this and that and the third. And that was me though at that age, 24. You know, when I went in there. So I understand it. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't have any intention of staying there and doing that. I had been an architectural draftsman, and I felt I was more of a professional person than to be a dishwasher. Well, you know, like you say, you know, you take what you can get, and then things start happening, and then people start. So I had the mentality after I knew I was going to be there more than a week because nothing else was popping anywhere. I said, okay, well, I better have the mentality that if I'm going to be a dishwasher, I'm going to be the best dishwasher. So 2 weeks later, I get promoted to executive steward, which is head dishwasher. Wow. So I'm telling the other dishwashers what to do. Yeah. Or both of them, you know. So, but that to me was that was kind of okay, well, I took that position and I did it so well that they want me to be the best at that position. Yeah. And then one thing lead to another. So, you know, and it's all about your disposition anyway. It's like, what do you do and who sees it? And then you start getting moved around. And so it took a while before I realized that, wow, I maybe can make a career at this thing in the hospitality business. I had never ever thought about it before. So sometimes you're put in places where you should be, but sometimes you just take what you can get, whether you like it or not, and you just grind down and you do it, and it leads to good stuff.
Gotcha. So, now, do you think that was a hidden passion? Like when you got into it, that's when you found out, hey, this is a new passion. No. Or you already knew.
No, I don't know if it ever developed into a passion. Gotcha. It was a sense of responsibility, being a parent, having a family. So it's not necessarily something that I said, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be in the hotel business. It just developed into one of those things. And there's a saying in the hotel business: once you get in the hotel business, you can't get it out of your blood because there's no industry like it. Yeah. And so I don't know. You know, my passion was always entertainment, always music and all that stuff. It just took me like 40 years to find my way back to it. Gotcha. But I never gave that dream up. Like it was always there. Yeah. But I'm just one of those people that, you know, you do what you must until you can do what you want.
Gotcha. And I think that's it speaks volumes of being humble. Because some people, if they can't do what they want to do, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's true. And I could have very well said, you know, I'm just not going to watch it. I'm going to sit. I'm going to wait until the job I want comes around. I'm going to sit home. I'm going to, you know, just keep looking into want ads or whatever. But I had a wife, you know, that said, oh no.
And that could have changed the whole course of life. Because
exactly.
I always believe that there's lessons throughout the journey. You know what I mean? It's like picking up little items. You're like, oh, what is this for? You know, it's useless now. But then years later, you're like, oh, that's why I got that skill, or that's why I learned that trade, you know? Correct. And so I think that watching you now, somebody hearing this, it could really speak to, like I said, somebody being humble. Because I think we can miss out opportunities if we're not humble.
That's true.
Because getting your foot in the door and then an opportunity creates where you can show, hey, this is what I can do now. But until you get inside, they really don't know who you are or what you can do.
Exactly right. Yeah. And you got to approach that in any part of life too, honestly, really. You know, is sometimes it's just a matter of, like you say, getting the foot in, and then you can start to see where you want to go, get some knowledge about what you're doing, and get the, you know, catch the eye of somebody that can help you, you know, pull you up.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I think nowadays it's people are so prideful and either saying I need help or they don't like to network to ultimately say they need help, or
True.
can you help me with this?
Right,
or
right.
You might have the missing piece. You know, could you speak if you had any experience with that, or have you witnessed somebody's shortcoming, or like they just kind of capped out at a certain position because they didn't want to network?
Oh, all the time. Oh, yeah. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, man, about being in management at a property, is trying to give people an opportunity. You know, you see something in somebody and you go to them and you say, listen, you know, this is what you're doing, but let me tell you what, here's the road. Like, if you do this,
yeah,
then I promise you can be here, or whatever. And 9 out of 10, man, will not take that advice or whatever. They already have it in their mind. Oh, no, that's not how it's going. That's not how it's done, you know. And I don't really need to hear what you're saying, old man. You know, that kind of thing, you know. Yeah. And then it don't last long, you know. And occasionally you get lucky and you find somebody that says, wow, this dude been in this business for almost 4 decades. He's seen it all. He's got to know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So instead of me trying to reinvent the wheel or, you know, blaze my own trail, let me see what he's talking about. You know, you're going down, here's the fork in the road, and I'm telling you, trust me, go right.
Yeah.
You know.
You see
no, but I think that left, no, dude, go right.
Yeah.
I promise you. Right might be, you know, you cleaning some toilets or you know, you washing the windows in the front or whatever, right? But that's going to lead you to my office and my chair, because that's where I came from. So I know the path.
Yeah, and you speaking from your personal experience.
Anytime anybody tells you from personal experience
you gotta listen.
that they walked that path, you should listen to them.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about.
So how hard is it when you look at, okay, like I got the hotel thing popping. Mm-hmm. So was it hard for you to transition back to your passion of music as far as juggling time? Or did you already have a staff put in place where you could do that? Yeah.
The hotel now at this point, man, you know, the key to businesses, any business really, is you surround yourself with people that can make it work, whether you're there or not. So if you get a team of people and it's working organically like it should, then, you know, nobody that I know of nowadays in the hospitality business or pretty much in any business spends, you know, 100 hours a week at that place just locked down doing stuff. You know, there's always room for things you want to do. Like, people ask me all the time, they're like, how you run the hotel all day, then you come and you're at the gym making videos at the gym, and then you're in the studio at midnight making a record and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, how do you do that? I'm like, how do you not? Like, what's stopping me from doing that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not locked down nowhere. I got the freedom to go and do these things. So as long as I got the energy, don't worry about the time.
Yeah.
You know, time is, you know, is going to come and go or whatever. If you got the energy to do something, go ahead and do it. You can always sleep. You can always get a nap. You can always do, you know.
Yeah.
But the things you want to do, you just got to go do them. So, yeah, it's been a great, you know, a great flow. All the things that I want to do, I'm able to fit them all into the 35 hours in a day that I have.
Okay. Yeah. And which is inspirational, man, because I believe that, you know, being a young black guy, entrepreneur, seeing someone like you that we can, you know, touch and see, I think it makes it more believable. You know what I'm saying? For other young African-American males, because we don't live in a big city where you see like a lot of people doing it. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
It's not like living in California or living in New York where you just bump into, you know, a top Billboard artist or whatever. You're like, yo, I want to do music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you really got to look at what we have and be inspired by that and kind of go. So who inspires you?
Oh, wow. Man, there's so many people, man. And, you know, and it's not the people you think. It's not like celebrities and big-time music artists and stuff like that. It's people in your neighborhood. It's like when I remember probably the most impactful thing on me is when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and there was a band in town called the Dynatones. And the Dynatones were, like, I had never seen guys like that, but they, you know, they would have shows locally and they would play all the, like, the Earth, Wind and Fire and Funkadelic and all this stuff. The coolest thing was they practiced 2 doors up from my house. So I would sneak up there and look through the window while they're practicing. And I'm seeing these people that I knew that lived in my neighborhood, and they were sounding like Maurice White and Verdine White and Earth, Wind & Fire. And they were sounding just like these people, New Birth and all this stuff. And I would listen to the records on the radio, and then I go up there and I look through the window, and these guys are playing these songs. And that made me believe that, you know, it let me know that these music artists out there that were the biggest chart toppers on the planet didn't come from another planet down to Earth. They came from a neighborhood somewhere. They were doing the same thing that this band was. So that band is probably the greatest influence, because seeing people that I know doing that made me think, okay, well, if they can do that, why can't I do that? So I would go home and start practicing on little tin cans and stuff, trying to, like I'm playing timbali drums and stuff. And that led to, you know, 3 or 4 years later, me being on a band and fronting the band and being, you know, an artist, writing some songs, you know, that kind of thing. So influences like that for me probably all happened in that teenage years, is where I formulated these heroes of mine. And they were all local people, just either some family members and then some, like I say, band members and stuff like that. Those were the heroes of mine that allowed me to dream.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's powerful, because you kind of emulate what you see.
Yeah.
And whether it be positive or negative, sometimes that comes out.
That's exactly right.
So if somebody wants to support the band, and you tell a little bit about the band as we get to closing. If somebody wants to come support you guys, where can they hear you guys play?
Look, right now, of course, with COVID, you know, we've been shut down. But like last year, we had about 35 or 40 shows. So we're all over the place. You know, it's Tony Camm and the Funk All-Stars. And I put that band together. I had been on the house band for years, like a local band called the House Band, R&B band, and we toured all up and down the East Coast, and, you know, we played a lot of Earth, Wind & Fire tributes and stuff like that, so that was a blast. And then about 4 years ago, I decided I want to do a little bit something different. I want to front my own group, and I want to do a funk, you know, thing. I've always been involved with P-Funk, George Clinton, and stuff like that. So just pieced it all together from people who were already on bands and who were, that's why I call them the All-Stars, because everybody on there, I was like, hey, man, I love what you do over there. Why don't you come jam with me? Hey, man, I love what you do. Why don't you come jam? So putting them all together as a collective, and then we just started going out and making magic. So, you know, it's hopefully next year we'll start getting some tour dates back up and some shows and things that people can come back on and have a great time. But, you know, TonyCamm.com is
where everything is.
Everything is, a tour schedule, where we're playing, videos of the band, personnel, all that stuff is on there.
So are you guys laying anything down that they can get on iTunes or anything like that?
Studio right now. So right now I'm in studio working on a solo project that I'm going to release on a label. So for the first time, I'm actually going to be a solo new music artist at 60 years old. It's kind of crazy. So I'm doing publicity and I'm doing photo shoots and we're talking music videos and all this stuff with a label out of New York. So all of that stuff is, you know, on the site, on my new original music, stuff that the band is doing. So I'm recording with different people, just like I do with all the other stuff juggling. I got a solo project. I got the Funk All-Stars project. I'm rocking out with these young rocker guys on another project. So it's like 4 different projects going on musically, all with recording different albums and stuff. So I'm having a ball, man. Life's a playground right now.
Yeah, as long as you enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the main things is learning and being in the, bringing it back to the influencer genre.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when people see that, man, like you never know who you inspire. You never know
I get that.
whose life you're going to save just by a message or just by them seeing you carry on and follow through whatever you're trying to do. And I think that's powerful. Yeah. If you could say something to people that are watching that are having a hard time, you know, due to COVID, there's a lot of anxiety, so they're being thrown off by the negativity. What could they do now to really start going after what they want to do in life?
This is the time. You know, the COVID thing, as horrible as it is, there are some good things that have come of it. You know, you look at certain things like spending more time with your family because everything's closed. You can't be out there doing all this stuff. You know, now you're sitting with your family watching Netflix or eating dinner at home because the restaurants shut down. So there are some things that, you know, I'm one of those people that's like, everything is how you look at it, right? It's what you make of it. So the downtime, like last year, like I said, we had 35 shows or whatever. So you got to think about it. Almost every weekend we were on the road. We were performing. There was no time to write music. There was no time to create. There was no time to do the stuff I'm doing right now. So with the shutdown, I started painting for the first time. Like I didn't even know. Like it was digital art. It's not. I don't have canvas and acrylic and all that. So real painters out there don't get me. But I got an app and I'm doing digital art and people started liking it. And then I found out I can put this digital art on clothing, as I got on right here, and launch my own clothing line.
Gotcha.
So these are things that I've done. I'm working on a graphic novel with a friend, Stan Webb. He and I are working on like a Batman type series thing. It's just things now with the time that I have that I'm not in motion all the time. I can actually sit down and say, oh, well, let me reach back in here. This is a thought I had 30 years ago. Let me see if I can type it out now. So use this time to do the things you want to do. Like if you ever had an idea, and you know, all of us have that same excuse why you didn't do something. Oh, I didn't have time, man. I didn't have time, you know. After I go from work to this, to that, and then I got to go out with the boys, and I go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch the game, and everything, you know. So use this time to do all the stuff. I really think that on the other side of COVID, we're probably going to see some of the best music and creative projects coming out of it because people are, I mean, you look at TikTok and all that stuff, people are bored, man. You know, they're sitting at home and they're just making dance videos with the family, you know, they never did that before. So things like that are coming out of this thing. So it's not all gloom and doom and it will pass. You know, we'll get through it. So what you gonna be like on the other side?
Gotcha.
Are you gonna be starting up all over again? Or would you have kept momentum going through the whole thing and picked up new stuff along the way? So on the other side of the thing, you're now bigger, better than you were before and during it.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And so y'all heard it from Tony Camm. You got to do it. This is the best time. Don't really let what you're going to discourage you. Let it motivate you and take advantage of your free time. Take advantage of that downtime where you can think. And then you can go ahead and process things. So like I said, man, it was a pleasure to have you.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. So we got to link up, man. We got to definitely collaborate on
I got to work out with you, man. I got to get bulletproof, man.
Yeah, let me know.
I got to get back in that gym and get swole again, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it. So as I always say, it's up to you guys of what you want to do and what you want to go after. But as always in this broadcast, I thank you for checking out the Art of Reinvention Talk Show with special guest Tony Camm. And as I always say, one love, but it's your choice to be blessed.